Hello everybody, this is Kathy with the Msbarzone. Let me make sure this is on. Okay, great. Okay, I'm back about a new lead that I got, and the lead is about the Mike Defilipis Jr. murder case, and this lead is actually from 2010. And there's a Facebook message that was sent to the family that was overlooked, and I think a lot of it was because Messino and all that stuff. There's a lot of other things on. Here's my cat. Get down. Anyway, because of Messino and because of other things that actually became, instead of a side story, became full attraction. And so what happens is I want to bring to light the lead that was overlooked all along. And this lead is about a guy by the name of Tom. And this guy is on the run. He's running. He went to another state. He was the last known contact with Mike Defilipis Jr. the night. So it is. Hopefully it's not a fake Facebook message. I got a hold of it. The mother asked me if I could find Tom. So I'm in my search. I'm looking for investigators. If you're a criminal justice student or anybody, please help me with this. Okay. But Mike had said that I was with Mike on the night of the 21st, meaning Mike Defilipis Jr., Monday, and it was a great night. Mike picked me up and we went downtown to a couple of nightclubs that Mike knew and drank. So in those days, I don't think it was called Casa, it was called more or less Excalibur, and whatever nightclubs were in 2009. So whoever is a nightclub person, maybe a DJ, could come in here and kind of help me with a lot of stuff, information I'm looking for. We argued about who would pay the drinks, and we joked to each other that all of our friends argue about getting out of paying for drinks, and here we are wrestling over the check. Mike was all smiles, and we both, meaning Mike Defilipis, okay? We're not talking about that Mike Jabber was with them. He's only the two, okay, Defilipis and this guy Tom, okay? Okay, so Mike was all smiles, and we both didn't want the night to end. We ended up in Horseshoe Casino and ended up going home at 6 a.m. So it's like the 22nd. Mike had to move. Okay, so there's something else. Okay, when I got the terrible news, I was in massive shock, and because of the robbery at a poker game that Mike and I frequented, which would have been at Mike Jabber's house, verified by him, I was scared to the point where I would not even go home. Mike had stopped by the poker house before we went out, and there are a lot of unanswered questions about who, why, and how that game almost got robbed at gunpoint. So Mike Jabber and Tom said the same thing on that. I was the one who called the police at the game, and subsequently 3 black men were arrested. At first I thought Mike's murder had something to do with the poker robbery because I received a call from the owner of the poker house who had told me, and that's Mike Jabber, the owner of the poker house, who had told me I would probably get out of my house. That was the night of the 23rd, 9 p.m. I went back without an armed guard or whatever. The thing is that it might be a fabricated story, but we're trying to figure out who, okay? And I'm going to give you some messages back and replies as Mike Jabber came into the story, in which was was contacted through Facebook from the family, and what happened is he denied talking to Tom at 9 p.m. He denied ever talking to Tom. And 5 years later, I contact Mike Jabber. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is, and I also wrote some side notes on the side, so once in a while I'll look down to my notes. But I'm going to read this from Mike Jabber. Definitely a bad hood. Yes, they were colored. They could have just been people always walking around out or someone at the game. Could have easily tipped them off, but they didn't even get in and were arrested. I was the one to go to the police station and file the report to press charges, so anyone that says I had nothing to do with it is full of, you know, the word SH. Okay. 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 Alright, so great. Alright, let me see what else I got. Okay, so we don't need that one anymore. Okay, so it says, Kathy, you can, this is Mike Jabber, you can ask me any questions you have, and I will answer them all, because I have absolutely nothing to hide, and do pray they catch whoever did this. And I can't believe that someone hasn't been caught yet. To be honest, it's kind of scary someone can commit a crime like that and get away with it. You know, when I called Mike Jabber the first time, he goes, "Oh, what happened? Was the guy hit in the head or something?" You know, it's really weird. Okay, like he doesn't know. And I asked him, was he familiar with the Anthony Catalano case? He said he never heard of it. Now, you know how stupid that is with Joe Fosco's, all that about soldiers and Giacchino, and I did ask him about Giacchino, okay? You should have heard his voice. Okay, you remember I heard about Giacchino with boxing and events like that. Come on, okay? Not saying that the boxing has something to do with it. I'm just giving you the leads, and then I need somebody to help me work through it, and I could show you that this needs to be interviewed by a professional. Like, we've got to get the news, we've got to get cops. Okay, I'm asking you to please remove your posts in my pictures. Okay, right, whatever, okay, because that's not right. Okay, but right, how else are we going to do it? Okay, especially, thank you for your questions. Okay, he said, I honestly don't know him like, or hang out with him like that. I don't even know who his friends were. It seems weird that he would feel threatened for his life and move away. He's talking about Tom. And it's like, okay, Tom later on, and I'll read that to you when I get a chance, says that he had checked back to find, and he heard who had set up the games. And that's about the last, in the paragraph of the last message that Tom sent. And they disappeared and changed it to a movie star's name. Okay, okay, not to me. Don't recall ever hearing, okay, I had asked him if there was a girl named Mickey, because I was told that Michelle was a 5-year relationship, and they called her Mickey, of Mike Defilipis Jr., okay? I understand that she was at the funeral and did some sort of eulogy. Okay, here's his answer. I honestly didn't know, okay, not to me. Don't recall ever hearing of a girl named Mickey. The only girl I ever saw Mike with was a black girl who would bring up, he would bring to the poker game, but I never met her before that or knew her name. Okay, and the thing is that why would you not know a name? This is your house, this is your guest. I mean, come on, there's no, were they interacting? Was he grabbing her butt? You know, what was going on? What was the relationship? And why wasn't a black girl there and at the funeral? And then why doesn't Tom mention the funeral home? I never spoke to the detectives. That's fishy, because they brought all of us for questioning. Okay, let me ask you this. If that were true, then how come Joe Fosco doesn't know about it, but maybe Joe Fosco is a fake? But anyway, alright, so I'm just trying to go over some questions. So where does this black girl come in at? You know where I think she comes in? I think that he's a yes man, Jabber, okay? And I think that the mother has the preconception of watching CSI, that the way that when you knife, if you go from underhand, that it means it's a girl. And the mother concocted the story. She's on pills or whatever it is, and she's sick, and she's all depressed, or whatever it is, because of all this. I think that if you put the words in his mouth, he'll be a yes man. He'll say, oh yeah, okay, now I'll show you that, I'll prove that to you. I think that she was fishing when she talked to him and asked him if there was a girl, and somehow brought into it, maybe, and put the words in his mouth and say, oh, black girl. So from that point on, there was a black girl. Okay, that's why I think where the black girl came from. Let me tell you something. If you ever see in his boxing videos, he's got YouTube online, he's punching. He knocks somebody out in 31 seconds. Is he capable? Yes. In 2008, 2009, he was in rare form. Okay? Boom, from underneath. He won some sort of champion or whatever he is, some belt or whatever. He was fast, furious, and mean, and he's trained to do that. Are you kidding me? Okay, so just so you know that, it's just what his answers are. I mean, it could be time, they could have been working together. I don't know. Okay, let me go over this. It says, Kathy, you could ask me, I'm asking, okay, so let me see if I have anything else on this one. Okay. Oh, I had asked him to describe. It says, I wish you can at least describe Tom, okay? Because we don't know who the Tom is. We're looking for Tom, right? Sorry, at work, he said, this is Mike Jabber's answer. Suddenly he's at work. He does this to me. He's real evasive, okay? Sorry, at work. It took me forever to get answers, just so you know from him. Okay, sorry, at work, but he's white. He's a white kid, 5'10", brownish blonde hair, and medium build. All right? And then I asked him about this guy named Bertucci, and I got sort of a lead. It might be good, it might be bad, but I can't prove it. I don't know any cops, so I don't know if it's true about this Bertucci guy. Maybe somebody just got something online and they found something and they thought that the cops from Elmwood Park all had sons and found all the cops from Elmwood Park. He says, no, you mentioned him to me, but I never seen him around. Heard his name a lot though. All right, so okay. I had asked him. I says, does Tom? Is he about 36, maybe lives on this such and such street in Chicago? I don't want to say that just in case it's correct. He says, yeah, the age is around the age for sure. As far as where he lived, honestly, I don't know. That was his back. Okay, Mike Jabber. And I says, well, so to me, okay, I say to him, so you never seen this Mickey at the funeral? No rumors, I just heard of his name a lot. Oh, he reverted back to Bertucci because they asked him also about Bertucci. Pretty sure he used to work in the downtown industry. That's why I heard his name a lot, because I used to work out in the nightlife as well. See, that's where he comes in as a yes man, and that's why, because he said it, probably not the truth. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It may not be the truth, okay? Let me revert to some notes. Oh, I can verify that the questions were asked, because I know that they were asked. You could just ask him. If he starts denying that the questions were asked from him by the family 5 years ago, then you know he's lying, okay? Because he denied at first ever talking to Tom. Although Tom might be telling the truth according to the timeline, may not be telling the truth, the 23rd. And I'm just saying that, well, now the Chicago Police Department is the only people that can substantiate that story. Am I not correct? And they won't answer the phone. We can't get these answers, the exact time and date that they had called. So what is the police procedure when they go into the house and they find the body? Okay, what would that? What is the date? They have the 24th is on the I guess the death certificate. So how long does it take before you call Tom? Okay, and he's saying that Jabber had called him. Okay. All right, he's saying that Jabber had called, him, but either way, Jabber only verifies the call about the rat and wreath, okay? Okay, so let me see if I can find where he says this again. Okay, again, I was worried about the fact that I was the caller to the police and people got caught. Mike said that he was starting, meaning Mike Defilipis, was starting his own poker game, and he wanted to go talk to Mike Jabber. I have no clue what the deal was, but I had a dead rat put on my doorstep and a funeral wreath put outside my house. I had told everyone my concern, and Jabber called me the night they found Mike and told me that I should get out of my house because it could be the robbery guys. Well, when I called Jabber, he said that the first time I ever talked to him, I want to say it was October or something like that, November, October of 2014. The first thing I asked him was, because he said that the robbers didn't get in, there was 3 of them that was almost robbed by gunpoint. Well, he didn't say that yet. He said that he said they were impersonating police officers, but he said, I asked him, did he check to see if the robbery people were, you know, of the poker game, the 3 black men, were they still in jail at the time of the Defilipis murder? And he said, his first thing was, he said that he checked, and that the detectives told him, he checked with the detectives, and they told him that the robbers were in jail at the time, the 3 black men, of the Defilipis murder. He gave me that answer right away. So I don't know. Okay. So then other things he says is suspicious about the situation. They were impersonating police officers. I says how? He says that they were wearing bulletproof vests. That part doesn't make any sense. But however, with Tom's timeline, he's saying the night of the murder, from what I was told, the guy was killed at 1 p.m. in the morning. And that would be the 24th. They found the body, I guess. At what point does the coroner say the time of death? Right? So the night they found, that means that only Jabber could tell you what the cops did when the body, what is the police procedure, okay, of what the guy, I asked myself, okay, could it have been Jabber? Just so you know, I'm a screenwriter, that's why I do storyboarding. He's denying all of this, that he didn't write all this, and that he didn't, and he didn't draw the pictures. No, he didn't. I never said he did. And then, but there's some interesting things here. Mike Jabber, okay, I'm reading this. Okay, it says, Kathy, seriously, stop posting BS and incorrect information. The robbers were caught when they were trying to run from the house. They had already caught the robbers before I got to the police station. Seriously, incorrect information. The attacks and misquoting. He plays people. And now I'll show you how he does that. He plays all his friends, and so many people came back and told me he was a snake, especially people that he fought with. Okay? Says the people from Cicero. Okay. Okay, robbers before I got into the police station. Seriously, incorrect information. The attacks and misquoting. People all have to stop. This is on people. Okay, enough is enough, and you have my number, and you or any cop, detective, FBI, I don't care, I can contact me. But the problem is, when I did call him, he evaded me. I finally resorted to text messaging. He won't answer the phone. He's very good. Okay, so it says to me, but you need to stop posting BS and putting words into people's mouths. I never put any words. He just does it himself. Okay, he used evasive language. That's police psychology that they use, and that when somebody lies, they know when you're lying because you use evasive language. Stop posting false, incorrect information when the person's in denial, first, right off the bat. That's how you know something's the matter. Like Cindy Anthony, in Casey Anthony case, false, incorrect information. You didn't even know where the games were held, but you keep accusing and attacking. God forgive you for constantly dragging my name into it and attacking me when I had nothing to do with it. You know what? He's got to be a witness, and the cops, I don't think they really talked to him. I tell you, I think he played, the guy Gordon that came in here, he played him totally for stupid because he didn't tell him anything about any cop. He didn't tell him about the family already contacting him. See what I'm saying? Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that you know, he plays him, and then Gordon finally said, "Oh, well, I don't care what you do." Right, because he wants out of it because he realizes the guy is a professional liar. Okay, Mike Jabber. Okay, here's something that Mike and I discussed. I have this as from Mike Jabber, referring to Mike Defilipis. Okay, he says, I don't think Mike would ever set up the robbery or rob someone, or never heard that from cops or anyone. From what I know and feel is Mike was involved in a lot of extra activities, but never once came off as someone to rob someone or do something wrong. When did I say that? I never once said it. He's either playing stupid or he is stupid. You know, he smokes dope or something, because he's doing, that's what I mean by evasive language. Why would I choose double flip-flop flipping? Why would I accuse Mike Defilipis Jr. of robbing a poker game? Why would Tom? He's totally off the beat. Okay, Tom said that Mike Defilipis Jr. started bringing a gun to the poker game because he was in fear of somebody. And remember, on the 17th, Tom supposedly got a rat and put on his doorstep. And the poker game was before that at some point. Okay, so then how could Tom and Jabber have talked the night when the cops called Jabber, and Jabber could have told him that was probably the poker game robbers? Which one is lying? You see what I'm saying? Somebody's lying. They could have both set the guy up. It's just Jabber's answers are off-center. right here it says, see what I mean about what Tom says? He seemed to be throwing the blame elsewhere. So it's the same thing with Tom. With Jabber, he seems to be throwing the blame to the opposite guy, which is Tom. But he's throwing the blame on Defilipis. I never said anything like that. Okay, let me see what else I got here. One more. Oh, Mike Jabber described Tom. Okay, it says, sorry at work, but the kid was 5'10", brownish hair, brownish blonde hair, short hair, medium build. Yeah, the age is correct. Because for sure is where we lived, honestly don't know. Alright? So, the thing is that, there's a lot to be said about, about this, I wanted to go over, if I could bring this up, I resorted to texting Jabber. So I'm going to read his text messages. Okay, I then, about a month later, had gotten hold of Jabber. It took me a month to get a hold of him from the first time I talked to him. He won't answer the phone through texting. Because I had called him, he says, call me later, I'm at work. So then I called him, but he wouldn't answer the phone by the time we got home. So I ended up in the next morning, early hours, 8:30 in the morning, texting him. Because I was asking him about Bartucci, trying to test him back and forth just to see if there's a case there. Because remember, Mike Bartucci, remember DeMonte? Well, Tony DeMonte, there's a ecstasy ring going on where he was busted selling in the Crowbar. I was thinking that Mike Jabber might have put it together to throw the smoke scene somewhere else. Well, as long as we're talking about Bartucci, he added to the flame. All right. Yeah, he makes a smoke bomb. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so and then it becomes evasive language. But here's the conversation. Here is what the celebrity boxer Mike Jabber stated about Mark Bartucci. This was October 22nd, 2014. I only know the name. This is him saying this, okay? But don't know Bartucci personally, or even what he looks like, to be 100% honest. Seems like he was a popular guy, though, because I always hear the name. We need to know if that's the truth, though. Maybe that's the truth. We need to know that. Okay? I then asked him, yes, what did you hear? Was it drugs or what? So do you think he and Defilipis stayed friends since kids, referring to the year 2009, 2008, right? Because in high school, Bartucci's from Elwood Park. Okay, so was Defilipis. Okay. His answer back was no, just that I guess they hung out a lot. They suddenly hung out a lot. We need somebody else to verify that, right? I never got involved with drugs, so no one ever talked about them to me. When he came to Bartucci, honestly, I can't help you much. Says, I have never met the guy. He answered, I didn't know that they knew each other for that long. And honestly, I have no clue about their relationship. But they hung out together. Do you think Bartucci would know about a black girl? That's what I'm saying, okay? I really wish I could help. But like I said, I never met him. And I know exactly the relationship they had. I didn't know. Or for how long. And further, I asked him, also, did you ever hear of